Good afternoon. Welcome to the March 2017 meeting of the Finance Committee. Hear us up there in Albany?
We can't hear you.
Boom.
You cannot?
Oh, there we go. There we go. Thank you, Freeman.
You better?
Yeah.
Yes? We're good? Okay, thank you. First up, behind tab 2 are the meeting minutes from the February meeting of the Finance Committee. Can I get a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second? Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. First up today is behind tab 3. It's the SUNY revenue bond offering, and Gerard will present it.
Are we going to do the
Sienna?
charter? No, the Finance Committee charter, which is immediately behind the minutes.
Okay.
Right
Must have
behind
missed that one. I got it. Okay. Sorry about that.
Right there.
Going back.
My mistake.
When Mike threw me for a loop there.
I know. I have evidence stuck in my head.
So the finance, the charter, there's no changes being recommended. It's the same as we adopted, I guess, 2 years ago, or last year?
Last year.
Any comments or concerns?
None at all.
Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve those, the charter for the Finance Committee?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that carries. Okay, now, back to where we were, behind tab 3. SUNY, Gerard, thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairmen, members of the Finance Committee. Single approval credit summary and staff report provided to the Finance Committee to recommend the full board's authorization for the approval of documents for the SUNY Dormitory Facilities Revenue Bond Series 2017. The board is being asked to authorize and adopt the necessary documents under the SUNY Dormitory Facilities Revenue Bonds Program in order for the authority to issue one or more series to be issued at one or more times of tax-exempt and or taxable bonds to be sold on a negotiated basis. The proposed bond issue will be for a term not to exceed 30 years and will be in an amount not to exceed $375 million. Bond proceeds will be used to finance various capital projects at SUNY campuses throughout the state and to refund all or a portion of various DASNY lease revenue bonds consisting of the Series 2008A, 2009A, 2010A, 2011A, and Series 2012A bonds, collectively the refunded bonds. You may recall legislation submitted as part of the fiscal year 2014 executive budget authorized a new SUNY dorms program supported solely by the rents, fees, and charges of the dorm rentals. The legislation authorized SUNY to transfer or assign to DASNY all rights in the dormitory facilities revenues and required SUNY to immediately pay such revenues without appropriation to the Commissioner of Taxation and Finance for deposit to the new Dormitory Facilities Revenue Fund. The fund is held separate and apart from the state treasury monies and is used first to pay the principal and interest on the old SUNY dormitory bonds and then debt service on bonds issued under the new program and to fund operations and maintenance and repair and replacement funds. The SUNY Residence Hall program operates on 25 campuses and serves over 70,000 students on an annual basis. There are approximately 400 facilities in the Residence Hall program. Each campus has its own unique mix of housing options. SUNY covenants to charge dorm rates sufficient to pay all debt service, fund all reserve requirements, and to pay all operating costs. In fiscal year 2015-16, the SUNY Residence Hall program generated a total revenue of approximately $545.5 million and had a debt service coverage ratio of 1.54 to 1. The security features will include bonds issued under this new program have a second lien on the dormitory rentals deposited in the Tax and Finance Dormitory Facilities Revenue Fund. Bonds currently outstanding under the old SUNY Dorm Facilities Program will have first lien on the dorm rental revenue. Special considerations. SUNY dormitories have had an occupancy rate of approximately 96%, resulting in strong rental revenues. And the SUNY Dormitory Facility Revenue Bond Program will not have a state appropriation feature, eliminating appropriation risk. Current market conditions result in the advance refunding of all or a portion of the Series 2008A, Series 2010A, and Series 2011A bonds. If market conditions improve by 50 basis points, Portions of the 2009A and 2012A bonds may qualify for refunding of an additional $112 million. This comment right here, it was the result of the revision that you received. There was a late mailing on March 2, which addressed the additional $112 million and inclusion in the refunded bonds definition. This will be the fourth financing and will be similar to the other SUNY dormitory transactions under this newer program. Chairmans?
Thank you. Any comments? Concerns?
No, really a question for Debbie, and not for Gerard. It's a council letter. I went over it again yesterday. At the very bottom, page 3, the very last full paragraph, bonds issued under general resolution will all be on parity with each other. However, they will be subordinate in right of payment and security from the dormitory facilities revenue. So the money would come from there, and the dormitory facilities revenues in it from time to time to the outstanding bonds issued under the price. So what this says is that these bonds will be subordinate to the ones that are issued previously. That's all this says. It's just it's giving us it's telling us where the money would come from, but it's simply saying that it's private.
Right. And the money will go first to pay debt service on the bonds issued under the prior
Prior
resolution,
resolution. Got it.
and
Okay.
then to pay debt service on the bonds issued under this
It's just a
resolution.
complicated sentence. I was having to I read it again last night. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? No?
I'll move approval.
Hearing none. Recommend approval at tomorrow's board.
Yes.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. That motion carries. Thank you very much. Next up is behind tab 4. It's the New York State School District Revenue Bond Financing Program, and Dave's going to present.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dave.
The Finance Committee's asked to recommend to the full board 15 series of tax-exempt and/or taxable bonds, an amount not to exceed $500 million, to be sold through multiple negotiated offerings on behalf of various New York State school districts. Proceeds from the issuance of these bonds will be used to refinance the bond anticipation notes or bands of various New York State school districts, to finance new money projects on behalf of these districts, or to refund bonds issued by DASNY through the school district's revenue bond financing program. As in previous years, staff is requesting an amount not to exceed $500 million to meet current demand from school districts for a pool financing closing in June, as well as to accommodate additional demand that could occur later in the year. This is a request that we typically make to the board annually right around this time, with the most recent authorization occurring back on April 13th of 2016, when the board also adopted 15 series resolutions totaling $500 million. Since that time, we have issued 7 series of bonds totaling approximately $274 million under that approval, which leaves 8 series totaling approximately $225.9 of remaining authorization. The proposed June 2017 issuance is expected to exceed this amount. So based on some of the preliminary feedback that we've received from the school districts, we anticipate a pool of about 35 districts totaling approximately over $350 million for the June 2017 financing.
Those districts are spread out around the state?
They're all over the state, yep. So any authorization that's left over after the June 2017 financing could be used for a potential fall pool or possibly refunding of existing DASNY bonds. Security features will be the same as previous school district pools, including semi-annual payments to be made pursuant to financing agreements, which are backed by the full faith credit general obligation bonds of the participating districts, a statutory intercept through the state comptroller of any state aid due to participating districts for debt service on DASNY bonds, as well as bond insurance if available and economically advantageous. One last item I just want to point out, the co-lead managers for the June pool will be RBC and Raymond James. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Do they have to go back to the members of the school district for approval?
Yes, all these school district bonds have to be approved by the taxpayers.
It's the same, typically, they're issuing their own
It's the
bonds.
same process,
Yeah, okay, thank you.
And once again, David, thank you for the flow chart.
Yes.
Every year, I thank you for the flow chart. But
It hasn't changed. But
Yeah, I guess.
It's helpful, though.
It is helpful.
You can-
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions or concerns, anything from Albany? Hearing none, can I please get a motion to recommend approval of this at the full board tomorrow? Thank you.
A second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Carries. Last up, behind 6 is the cerebral palsy bond for 32,775. Who's doing that one? That's Steve.
Staff requests the Finance Committee to recommend the full board adopt a resolution to proceed with one or more series of fixed and/or variable rate bonds in an amount not to exceed $37 million for a term not to exceed 30 years on behalf of United Cerebral Palsy Associations of New York State, Inc., which will be the only UCP affiliate to participate in the Series 2017 financing. The borrower functions as the statewide coordinator of the 24 UCP affiliates and operates an extensive array of its own programs and services to individuals with developmental disabilities. For fiscal year 2016, the borrower had approximately $115 million in operating revenues. This financing will be the 5th DASNY issuance for this borrower. The borrower currently has a total of approximately $16 million in Series 2010 and Series 2014 bonds outstanding. The Series 2017 bond proceeds are expected to be used to finance the acquisition and renovation of a condominium unit located at 40 Rector Street in Lower Manhattan, which will be the borrower's new headquarters, and to finance the acquisition of a 4-story building located at 174 Java Street in Brooklyn, which provides individualized residential alternative services. The 174 Java Street project is supported by a prior property approval from the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities, or OPWDD. The Rector Street condominium will be paid through an administrative component of the borrower receives from OPWDD, which is also subject to intercept and included in pledged revenues. The debt service on the Rector Street condominium is expected to be marginally higher than the leasehold payments the borrower is currently paying on the space that it will be vacated. The Series 2017 bonds are expected to be sold through a private placement to one or more qualified institutional buyers, which the borrower will select in the near future. So while staff will update the board on the terms of the transaction and adoption of documents, the current expectation is for the Series 2017 bonds to amortize over a 30-year period with a tender after a lesser period. The borrower may choose to either refinance or negotiate a renewal prior to the tender. The Series 2017 bonds will be secured by a pledge of certain revenues and the statutory authority to intercept funds payable by any state or local agency or social service district, which would otherwise be payable to the borrower. No debt service reserve fund is currently contemplated. A mortgage and financial covenants may be required by the purchasers. Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Their board reviews the underlying terms of the purchase agreement and everything. They have their own board and they review it for its market liability, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
Right? They have their own.
Okay. And this particular board, it's made up of members from the boards of all the affiliates as well, so it's very comprehensive.
Mm-hmm. And their the payments on the bond, you said, is very similar to what their current lease payments.
That's right. They expect it to be slightly higher than what their current lease payments are. We'll know better once we get the term sheets from the
How long were they at the
purchasers.
other down the block? They were down the block for a while, right?
Yeah, I don't know how long they've been there, but they've been there for quite a while. But the landlord for that property is really looking to change the mix, the use of tenants, or basically higher rents. So,
All right.
so
They're
this,
going downtown, so
I understand this.
interesting.
The debt service on this new condo will be substantially lower than what their rents would be
If they were
permitted
staying
to
in this
stay
day, I
there.
got it. Right. Makes sense, okay. Any other questions?
No questions, just a thank you, Steve and Mike Carden, for helping me to know what the array of services that this organization provides. That its patients are not simply, they are not limited to people with cerebral palsy.
Right.
Yeah, no, I've got it.
It's a pretty wide-ranging organization. I mean, they really do a lot of good work. Nice to be associated with them.
Really?
Anyway, any other concerns, questions?
None here, sir.
Hearing none, can I get a motion to recommend approval at tomorrow's board meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Did I miss anything? I don't think so.
At all.
Okay. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Thank you.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That concludes the March meeting of the Finance Committee. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Thanks, Spence.
And we're out.
Thanks, brother.